Welcome back to another debrief, this time Formula Drift Round 2 in Atlanta. So typically, I think that Long Beach is usually the one with all the carnage. It's the first time that everybody gets out with all the brand new cars, and you're going to see a whole bunch of crashes due to walls. Atlanta, not really the case. This time, it was wet, it was wild, and that wall eats. This was also the first Pro Spec round this season, and yeah, we could talk about it or just say congratulations to Alaska and just move on. Now on to a better topic, which was the course changes. It's kind of a big deal because a lot of guys have been driving this for years. It's a muscle memory thing. This is a road course, so they're very used to what they have to do. The muscle memory kicks in. Most of the guys look forward to this round. They can jump right in, put down a stellar run. But with the course changes, they kind of move you off the line a little bit that these guys are used to. For some of the new drivers, that doesn't matter so much. For some of the older drivers, it might be hard to shake that muscle memory, and I think we saw that this round. Now, the reason for the course changes is to make for a better chase run. So the lead driver can give them a little bit more space, whereas before they could kind of be on the rumble strips and choke them out a little bit. That would put them off course. The chase driver really doesn't have anywhere to go in this scenario. So I get the idea, which was to open it up and make a better chase run. But I think a lot of people had some pretty weird adjustments with these. Let us know what you think of the course layout in the comments. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think that Road Atlanta could be untouched. I think there's things you could do in the chase position to make up for it. But I think they're trying to avoid this weird slingshot effect that does happen there. So, I don't know. Let me know. Now let's jump right into this event recap. Nothing really happened in practice. Maybe Vaughn Gittin Jr. caught fire. You know, whatever. Stuff happens in practice, but nothing that they couldn't take care of. Let's move on to seeding, where we had two champions to start this thing out. We had Daigo Saito, Vaughn Gittin Jr. Vaughn's a previous champion, a legend in the sport. You couldn't get an image for this dude. You couldn't just, find an image of Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s face. It's been around for 20 years, 20 plus years. Anyway, that battle was kind of not good. It wasn't good. Daigo and Vaughn, that wasn't good. But it could be changing conditions. And these guys, like I said, muscle memory. They know this track. Now, with the new course changes, you could really see that change in some of the drivers like Vaughn Gittin and Daigo Saito. These guys are operating off muscle memory. Vaughn has won this many times in the past, and this was a horrible showing for both of them. It wasn't a good battle. Moving on, we got Jack Shanahan versus Dmitry Brudsky, and Shanahan put on a clinic. He was looking good, man. On fire. His first time out at this track, looking really good. Ultimately moved on. Next up, we had kind of a shaky battle with Ryan Littoral and Derek Madison. Littoral had a weird, funky entry. Wasn't going to make turn one. Definitely wasn't on the new line. He barely made the old line. So Madison contacted him a little bit, and then Littoral's wheel was trying to make its way onto a different course. Now moving on to Rudy Hansen and Daigo Saito. Bad luck continues for Daigo Saito. Something weird happens. It's just, I don't know, another awkward battle. His car shut off. Who knows? Couldn't tell you what goes on there. But another real shaky battle. I don't think there's really anything to talk about much in the seeding bracket other than, Mata and O'Sullivan was a pretty good battle. O'Sullivan got a little bit too aggressive, and Mata showed that he has resilience. He's very patient and did exactly what he needed to do, took home that win. So congratulations to Mata. Now let's move into the top 32, where it was definitely very moist.
She wet, so she is.
We'll start off with Nick Novak and Frederick Osbo. I think this is just a weird patchy condition kind of thing. I don't know. I think that Osbo tried to throw it and it didn't go, and Novak bumped him. But this could be just a patchy conditions thing. So it rained off and on. This is starting to dry up a little bit. We're kind of wet. I don't know. Weird throw from Osbo. Novak bumps him. Osbo gets the win. Who knows? Whatever. Real not good battle. Next up, we move to Ben Hobson, Simon Olsen, and another kind of a shaky battle. I think it could have been a good battle. I think Hobson got a little bit overzealous, went a little too hot, gave him a bump, and then Olsen moves on. And then a battle I was very excited for as Jack Shanahan, Chris Forsberg. This is Shanahan's first time. He was looking really good in the seeding bracket. Forsberg definitely knows how to drive in Atlanta. And a shaky start to this battle as Jack Shanahan just goofs. He just goofed it.
Wait, what? I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
Just a little, he biffed. He just didn't do it. He went to enter, it gripped up, sent him straight in the wall. We've seen this happen before. It's very uncommon, but, it bit him, and he owned it, and I appreciate that. Hey, I made a mistake. It wasn't a mechanical failure or anything like that. I screwed up, and, Forsberg moves on. The next battle we talk about is Lemaire. Finally got his vet out there. He's not in a borrowed car anymore. He has to go against Sorensen, and Sorensen has proven to be very good this season and last season, so he started off strong. So pretty high expectations for this battle, but Lemaire gets knocked out and not a great showing. Maybe he needs to go back to the borrowed car. After that, we have what would be a stellar battle as always. James Dean versus Von Gittin Jr., and it's a stellar battle. It was really good to watch. The guys drove super hard, but ultimately, James showed him who's the new daddy. Next up is the battle that everybody was talking about, LZ versus Sharifo, the double pass deal. Let's get into this, right? I think that Fetty did a great job auditioning for Pro Spec, and Adam had to do what he had to do to get by him. And then out of anger, Fetty does what he does. It makes for a great show. It was fantastic to watch. Double pass, passing rules. I don't care if it's not allowed. I think it's sick. But Adam did what he had to do and moves on. The conditions are still shitty. So is the driving. Castro and Hurst, real shaky battle. Hurst spins out, and then, Hurst bumps Castro. Castro goes weird off track. It looks like he flopped. I don't believe that because I saw something weird like that happen to Castro in practice. He also had, in the same spot, some kind of weird jerk off the track, and I think that could have been something in the steering. Who knows? Could have been wheel-to-wheel contact. I don't know. Regardless, not great driving. But after that battle, the rain really came back.
She wet, so she...
So this could even help because it could be dramatic difference, but having a patchy course is terrible. These drivers are trying their best, but patchy conditions, you can't really do anything about it. We're back to full wet.
She wet, so she...
It's a sloppy Joe track out there and more sloppy runs. Ryan Littoral and Ryan Turk, another shaky battle. I think both drivers could have done way better. Littoral bumps Turk, and Turk gets the win. It's just another sloppy, ugly run. And the last thing to speak about in 32 was O'Sullivan almost doing what Jack Shanahan did, getting all jacked up, off course, almost writes the thing off, but managed to stay on track. And that was the end to our 32, which was not the greatest showing. Anyway, let's move on to the top 16, where Jeff Jones does something. Let's move quickly through the top 16 because there's not too much to talk about. It was another change in conditions for a lot of drivers, and really, there was nothing much to talk about. It wasn't great. I mean, Forsberg went off into the gravel, and, that's uncharacteristic of himself, and then also had a really bad chase, loses that battle. Then Rome Charpentier loses it. Why wouldn't you? He's from California. He doesn't get much rain driving, so Rome loses it. Whatever. Then we move on to LZ, who chucks that thing. This dude's going for a championship this year. He's trying to drive really, really hard. He chucks it super hard, almost spins out in another ugly battle. And then we had Dylan Hughes straighten out. Something weird, right? That's the end of the top 16. Now we move on to the grade 8, which was some good driving for a change. Finally, we got some good driving. Full wet conditions have brought some light to these drivers. Hiro Manoa and Osbo had a pretty dang good battle. It was really fun to watch as Osbo just flipped a switch. He said, I'm winning this thing. He had the gnarliest chase run that he didn't need to do, but it was very good timing. Manoa had a great lead run, and Osbo just was right there the whole time. It was just a thing of beauty. So we knew going into the next battle that it was going to be even harder. So after the battle of Manoa and Osbo moves on. We have Matt Field and James Dean, All-American muscle battle. I thought it was going to be sick, right? It was also a very good battle. It was fun to watch, but some mistakes on both sides. Some people say it would be a questionable call. They went to an overhead, but I think it was good leads and follow. It was shaky. Let's be honest. It was shaky. I think James did a great job in the lead position, and Matt was a little bit off, but James wasn't great in the chase position either. I would have to agree with our boy Reese, who would say one more time, clean it up, boys. Clean it up. Get you a good run. They could have run that back, and I feel like it would have been the same result, but I think Matt deserved another chance on that. But Jared Deanda chimed in, and Reese had to let him know.
Yeah, well, luckily you're not a judge.
It's just
Turk and Castro, a little bit of contact. It was a super weird battle, but Castro moves on. I think Turk just misjudged the entry speed. I think Castro did exactly what he's been doing. Nothing funky there. I think Turk really wanted that win, and he came in a little bit hot, little bump. Castro moves on. So moving into the final four, this is where the driving really gets good because it's full wet. It's elite drivers. This is the championship battles. It is the usual suspects and Castro. But starting off the battles, we have Frederick Osbo and Odie Botchis. Odie struggles in the rain. He knows he struggles in the rain. He's mentioned that. But what he did in the offseason was rent a water truck and spend some time driving in the rain. And that showed through because this was a good battle. Osbo and Odie, always going to be a good battle. But this time in the rain, another good battle. It's just Osbo's on one, man. His lead run was great, and his chase run was better than Odie's. So ultimately, Osbo gets the win, and we'll move in to the finals. Next up, we have James Dean and Castro. And James is a veteran in the rain. I mean, his country is it just rains. And Castro, he did a great drive. I mean, he made it all the way up to this point. But when you're forced to drive against someone like James Dean repetitiously, just repetition, just bang, 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 James is going to hit all the marks. Unfortunately, Castro couldn't do that in the one more time, so James moves on. Now we have the final battle. And this is, a replay, right? We got Osbo and James Dean. Always going to be a good battle. Both of them can drive in the rain. We know that. Both of them have been very on point. James is going to come out swinging because he didn't win the last one. Osbo did. So a very good set of battles to start off with. Too close to call. They'll go to a one more time. And in this one more time, I don't know. I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it needed to go again. I think the decision was done here. Who do you think I would have picked? But anyway, I think it was done. I think it was done in two, and everybody thought it was done. So they start doing donuts, and they have a winner and all that jazz. But it was not the case. There was something wrong with a button push or the thing, and they had to go back and do it again. Everybody was leaving. Everybody's gone. They think it's done. They think there was a clear winner. But I guess that wasn't the case. They run it back one more time, and James Dean gets the win, evening out the odds a little bit. So the chase is a little tougher for Osbo and James, but Odie's right there. So unfortunately this time the rain has kind of made it a little bit boring to watch, but there was some fun stuff in there. Hopefully the next one's better. And you can continue to watch this if you just subscribe. So subscribe to us here, Wrecked Magazine. You can subscribe here, Instagram, Facebook, and follow along with Wrecked Magazine and everything that we do. There's merch, there's all kinds of things. So follow along. We got a lot to do. We got the rest of the season coming up. But that's going to do it for me. I'm Danger Dan. We're out of here. Skibbity boo bop. See you later.